sit and chat with you and do your hair. I'm honored.
And this woman, I don't know her as well as you do, that she walked in, I said, I love that shirt. She took it off, she said, take it. So I'm bringing it home.
I learned that in India, actually. I also had a really, really nice welcome to India 25 years ago when I came, when people took their shirts off their back for me too. So welcome, Bobbi.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to first start talking a little bit about your philosophy on beauty and wellness. Beauty from the inside out. Tell us about that.
Well, for me it's really simple. As a woman and a beauty expert, I learned a long time ago that in order to feel good and pretty when you look in the mirror, it's not just what you put on your face, it's who you are as a person, but also what you put in your body. And it's not easy to try to be like someone else, so you might as well just be the best of yourself.
I think that's awesome advice. Good to know. You launched your brand in 1991. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
I didn't know what a brand was when I launched this company. In 1991, I was a wife of almost 2 years and a mother of a 1-year-old. I was a freelance makeup artist, and I didn't want to travel anymore and be away from my family. I met a chemist at a shoot and told him I had an idea for a lipstick. He made it for me, and I then thought of 9 other colors that would work together, and I launched. I didn't know what a launch was. I started selling them out of my home to friends, models, editors. First time people actually read about the product was a friend of mine who was an editor at Glamour magazine wrote about it. Now I know it's called PR and getting the name out there, but that's how it started. There should be a conversation out there, about being authentic, number one, being real, about, what is really happening. I think the problem with our social media is you look at it and all you see is perfection. They're at more, better parties, they're doing better jobs, they're prettier, they're this. No one puts up bad pictures. I think I got the most likes on my Instagram when I had a picture of like 6 different bags dumped out on my floor with junk in all of them. Because I was so busy that week, I was crazy. But the reality of telling the truth, I think, women were so happy to see. So I do think it's time that we start having conversations, real conversations.
And a lot of people who are very popular on Instagram who are actually in a position to make those kind of statements, right?
Yeah, a lot of women in the media are starting to talk about certain things that they're going through, and I think it's really helpful.
Why have you always sort of encouraged women to talk about this?
Well, for me, I've learned early on, I don't feel comfortable trying to be what I'm not. I feel most comfortable being myself. It's I don't know if it was coming from Chicago, which is in the middle of the country, which kind of, you get a little bit more down to earth a little bit, or that myself entering an industry that had tall, skinny supermodels, and if I tried to compare myself to Naomi, Linda, Christy, I was going to lose. So I realized, don't do that. Bobbi, be who you are. Be, you're 5 foot, happily married, woman that lives in the suburbs of New Jersey, instead of trying to pretend I'm all fabulous.
You are fabulous.
But it took a long time to realize that I'm fabulous because I'm myself.
She exhibits sound business acumen, which is established through her investments in an online lifestyle portal. She is involved in scene promoting the business, providing inputs and reviewing products regularly. Extremely busy year in 2019 for Malaika. Please put your hands together for none other than Malaika Arora, the new amazing even without a stitch of makeup.
Thank you, Anna. That's very sweet. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, Bobbi. Okay, is this chair for me?
Well, you can take a seat on that very throne right there. Do you need some help?
God, I like the sound of it, my throne.
So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring, with a massive round of applause, Bobbi Brown back onto the stage. Thank you, Bobbi. Welcome back.
This is not fair. Hello. I hope you like what I've done. She is all finished.
We're set.
Oh my gosh. So, guys, I'm really excited to do this. And this is the first time I've done my makeup. And as a makeup artist, it's very normal to get a little bit of, flutters. It's a little bit of nerves. But that's, I think, so important to know that the first time I do anyone, it's normal. But so the other first time I do people is I look at their skin. And for me, it's about bringing the healthy glow. She has the healthy glow. So,
All thanks to yoga.
all thanks to yoga. No, but seriously. So before I even start with the makeup, I'm going to really just encourage you guys, this on a personal note, to make sure that you are taking really good care of yourself. You're eating really well. You're healthy. You're doing all the right things. What's your
Really particular about what I put into my system. So, eat all healthy meals, eat on time, no junk food. Try and eat my dinner by 7 o'clock, so which means no food after that until the next day. So I try and lots of water.
And how do you eat by 7 o'clock if you're in events after events?
I'm shameless. I'll pull out my food out of anywhere, and I'll get that plate out next to me and say I'm eating irrespective.
Do you bring food with you?
I generally do that.
And what do you bring?
Well, it's I try to follow a gluten-free, kind of low-carb diet, high protein. I don't really do too much of dairy.
Sticks, and it has powder in it, where this doesn't have powder, so I'm going to put powder over it, but this is the same color. The difference is it would create a more matte look on her, and depending on how she's being photographed or how long she's going to be on the red carpet, she might want it, but this also is good for people when it's going to be really hot, and it takes 2 seconds. Have you ever tried these? Yeah, they're so easy. It's powder. It basically, goes to a powder. They have.
Glides on you.
Yeah. They also make concealer pencils, which are really nice. Good coverage. Can I have a lighter one? So this one, it's the medium color. Now, her eyes are big and perfect, but if you have deep set eyes or any eyes that go in, when you put the concealer to lighten, put it up on top, push it, not on the eyelid, there's always a recessed area. Go right there. And gently pat. See how that just brightened up under the eyes? And I think it's okay for everyone to have a couple colors because depending on our hormones or how we feel, you always look different under your eyes. Have you noticed that also?
Good days and bad days.
Good days and bad days. And that's why makeup is so great to be able to know how to move it. So I'm going to use, which one do we have? I don't like a lot of powder, but I always start with the powder around the nose, under the eyes.
Maybe where the term comes from, right? Powdering your nose.
Exactly. Well, it is the shiniest area. And I know it's very in style to have the glow on the skin, but it can't be everywhere. You can't have the glow around the nose and here in your forehead, you're just going to look, too shiny and nervous. One of my tricks I also do, close your eyes for a second, I use the powder on the eyelid instead of an eye base. I don't particularly like eye bases or even, what do they call them?
Just primers.
I don't like primers. I don't understand them. Primers to me just add something thick on the eyes and sticky. So I use the powder. It's more silky. Feel your eyelids, how silky it looks. Yeah.
So you using primers.
Yeah. It's just, it's too much, you know? So, you know, I also have been lucky enough to work with a lot of very well-known, gorgeous supermodels in New York, and a lot of them are of Indian descent. And that's how I learned what colors to put on their skin, and it's how I learned what colors to make. So when I look at you, I see like color on your eyelid. So I love to find an eyeshadow before I do anything else that's a color for the eyelid. So let's, yeah. Like,
Having fun, everybody? Yeah.
yeah, if you guys have any questions while I'm
Very
doing
good,
this, yes.
very good
yes.
audience, I have to say.
I just wanted to know, Malaika obviously is stunning.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know. Okay, excellent. She is stunning, and like you said, you put in a lot of effort to get to be that stunning. Most of our clients probably would not. What sort of prep would you suggest that we can advise them before we go into actually do the makeup on the day?
Well, there's not much you could do in a couple days. I mean, so your master, you know, your masterness or whatever the word is, has to come from how you take whatever's around you and think on your feet and just make the best decisions. It's not cookie cutter. So you could certainly give them advice for long term, but nothing happens in a couple days.
Okay, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
I saw you using your fingers as well.
Yes.
So fingers versus sponges or brushes?
I have to say I use my fingers mostly in this chair. I use my fingers a lot. So right now I'm using this Beauty Pie brush. If you guys don't know Beauty Pie, it's a digital brand that sells you the makeup for her cost. You join for a certain amount, and it's actually very nice quality. So sometimes I apply it, and then I'll take my finger. But I'm very good at choosing colors that don't need to be blended. That's kind of one of my specialties. But open your eye for a second. But you see how it looks like her natural color? I start that way, and then we can build it up later. And this is basically, you know, a taupey tone with a little bit of rosy in it. It's not pink, it's rosy. And I always have a powder brush or something around, because when you do the shadow, it sometimes falls. You just kind of wipe it up. And if I was doing a smoky eye, which I'll do after, you do the eye first, it's going to make a mess. Clean it up, and then you do the rest. Yes? I don't know. Do you have a mic? Okay, then I'll repeat it. Where do I get my flair for color and texture? I don't know. My mother? I don't know. I have no idea. I just get inspiration from colors. I get inspiration, you know, bless you, backstage. I get inspiration from, you know, people's faces. And I'm someone that likes to build on the face. And when I do makeup in a studio at home, I usually do makeup not in the makeup room, but I do makeup on the set. So this is a similar tone, but has a little bit of goldy highlights in it, because I just love dimension. It just adds a beautiful dimension. And so I would consider this a nude makeup. Nude makeup is not the beige makeup, it's not the Kardashian look, which is, I'm not knocking it. Some people like it, that's fine. No, I believe in freedom for makeup, but it's just not my look, and I just love more natural tones.
The nude makeup probably the most difficult to achieve?
Which makeup?
The nude kind
The
of
nude
makeup.
is the most difficult. People make the most mistakes because they don't know what to choose, and they choose the wrong things. So, so now I'm looking for a little deeper of a tone to build it up, build it into the crease. Now, normally you have to create a crease. We don't have to. God did that already. Created the crease for parents. But normally you have to make a crease. So you go up here, and my trick, and again, because too much got on the brush, I went like this, and I took my finger and really blended it in. But what I really do is when you dip it in, you go like this, or if your makeup artist should blow on it, you get it off. This just adds some dimension. And most of my makeup techniques were created because I wasn't a painter. Like I couldn't just. Now there's nothing to contour. You know, a lot of people would contour under here if there's a little bit, but there's nothing. So I'm just going to add. This is kind of just blending it in with the rest of the body. Do you not have a cosmetics contract? You do?
Well, now after this, I will.
And you should. If any cosmetic companies out there, it's like they'd be silly not to.
Lady in the front has a question.
Hi, good evening. It's amazing to have you guys here. We love you both. Well, three of you. So I just have a quick question again regarding the primer. You said that you don't use it on the eyes, but on the face, did you skip it because?
No, I don't use primer at all.
Yes.
I don't have a primer for the face. I don't have a primer for the eyes. I never made a primer. If the Bobbi Brown brand has a primer, they did it after I left.
So if she had open pores, because you asked her and she said she doesn't.
No, I didn't have to ask her. I looked. As a makeup artist, you don't ask someone, do you have open pores?
Yeah.
You just, yes. I still don't use primers, even people that have large pores.
Okay.
I find that it just creates this unnatural canvas that I am not comfortable with.
Okay.
Other people swear by primers. I just personally don't like them. I don't like the texture.
Okay. Great, thank you.
So this is not blush. This is a little bit of a bronzer that has a little bit of pinky in it. It's got no shine, and I'm using it as a tint to the skin. And if she was someone that said, I need to have contour, which I hope she's not, and I don't think she is, I would pretend I was contouring. But I'm not. I'm actually just skin enhancing. And don't forget about people's ears too, because you don't put foundation on. I mean, your skin is pretty much the same, but a lot of people have different color ears. And anything that shows, when you're a makeup artist, anything that shows. One of my first magazine jobs, I looked down at the feet because I had to do her face, and the photographer said, you have to do her feet. She was a dancer. I know you're a dancer. She was a professional ballet dancer, that her feet would completely, and I had to do her feet. Amazing color. Do you have contacts? Really? But not color ones.
Blind when I have to read up close in. That's the sad part.
So, let me talk about different tones for a second. So in your kit, you need a brownish bronzer, you need one with a little pink in it, you need one with, basically like deeper that has a little orange in it, and then you just use it to build up and kind of fix. It's not, if you were going to contour, I would rather use a bronzer than a brown shadow. Because at least you can contour and make it the natural planes of the face and not, too weird. But then there's also some shimmery colors because we can play with those too. And bronzers are just, it's all over, and if you're doing a bride, you might need to do their body if there's some unevenness. Okay, so then blush. So with bronzer, you don't need tons of blush. Sometimes it's nice to have something. So
I love blush.
I do too. That's my number one
I
product.
think that just kind of lifts my face. I feel I look bright and chirpy and all of that.
Yeah, it makes me happy. Okay, now I still smile. I put blush on the apple of the cheek. And this is important because you go this way and you take your brush and go down and up. Go on the nose. And this is Orgasm Blush. Try that one? Yeah. It's got gold flecks in it.
Liquid one as well, which is works great on the beach.
Yeah. I don't know many people that wear makeup on the beach, but she says it's great on the beach.
When you shoot on beach, when you shoot
When
on
you shoot on
beach. So I did some of that, which looks great.
I always wanted to be the person that comes to the beach fully. You know, I'm sure.
I need to be oiled from top to toe.
But this is really pretty. So the bronzer and the blush together, and it's got the gold flecks, which is really nice. Yes? Do we have a microphone down there? Yeah, he's coming.
Hi, thank you. So nice to see all three of you. I just wanted to ask regarding how do you decide what shade of blush to use for face?
That's a great question. She wants to know, how do I decide what color of blush on skin tone? I usually go for pinkies, for plums, for, peachy, before I go for too orange. Because a lot of women, I find, especially if you have brown skin and you're wearing all this like brown blush, it just looks dull. You want to have things that pop and look really pretty. So I think pink is so pretty. And I would say this would be a pinky, peachy, goldy blush. That would really work. And, I wouldn't, red blush, I've never found a red blush that works, or too much gold in the blush. I like the natural, pinch your cheek for a second. So if you pinch your cheek, that's the natural color of the blush you should get. And if you bite your lips, if you ever stuck somewhere and you have no makeup on, do this for 60 seconds, and you'll have her colored lips. And then you put gloss on and you pretend you're all makeup.
Quick, when you run to the gym, I just pick my cheeks and
It lasts just for a couple seconds. But it works in a picture, and sometimes when I don't feel good or I just go like that, and it's like, wow, it really helps.
get someone to kiss you.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And then she's got a little highlight in there, but I just love highlight. So I've got one by NARS, this brand new, exclusive, bizarre thing, because they always come up with something interesting. It is a combination eye gloss and cheek. Isn't that nice? And this is great.
Lovely.
It's kind of like a yoga face. So
You gotta try it as everybody. That's
yeah.
Mom, I have a question. Do you also use under eye creams?
I use under eye creams, absolutely.
As a night cream or to moisturize?
Yes. And it's a different cream on your face because so it won't get in your eyes.
Mike's coming to you at the back, ladies. I think I've got my latest obsession.
Yeah, isn't that
What
pretty?
does it say?
Hi.
It's lovely.
You said you do not use concealers and correctors much, but then how do you hide extreme pigmentation or dark circles?
Under the eyes?
Yeah.
Oh no, I use concealers and correctors, and everybody is different. This model doesn't need a lot of it, but no, I absolutely have to brighten up under the eyes. I think of concealer and corrector as a way to brighten under the eyes. So I usually do corrector first, then concealer. And some people with very bad dark circles, then you need a third one on the dark parts. Literally just follow the darkness, the deep recessed area, and brighten that.
What's the third one?
Sorry?
What's the third one?
Well, the third one on the pencils. I've been using the pencils. So I've been using these things called Everything pencils, which I buy on Amazon for just a few dollars, called Everything. And then when you need to, you can just go that little extra dark area. And it's really teaching yourself as a makeup artist, you need to stop and look. It's not just doing the same thing on everybody. Every woman is different. And no matter if you were, Malia's makeup artist and traveled with her, she would look different a little bit, not a lot, different days. So you just have to be aware. Okay, and then also they have the pencils, the concealer pencils from Nude Stick, same thing.
Good evening. My question is, how to make brighter colors pop up on darker eyelids?
How to do brighter colors. Well, we have a couple different makeups, so just make sure that I do the brighter on the eyelids, because I wanted to give you kind of this is like a nude, but not boring, beautiful face. So nude doesn't have to be boring. So I'm going to also look at her lips. Now, my biggest problem with her lips is they are perfect. I had to go back and look at your Instagram to see how you looked with paler lips. You look good anyway. It's not always easy finding a pale lip color for someone that is such a rich cherry lip color. So she has nothing on her lips now.
Another question.
Yes.
Why do sometimes the foundation turns gray?
Foundation tones are gray because a lot of foundations are not made properly. They're basically gray undertones. Like, I don't know who thinks women are beige. I have never met a beige woman in my life. So I have yellow orange tones in my skin. You guys have yellow orange tones in your skin. Sometimes the fairest women in Britain might have pinky tones, but no one has gray tones. And no one has beige tones. It's the wrong foundation. I have a big beef with foundations out in the market. They don't really look natural. Okay, so I think this is going to be too light.
And how do we prevent creases on eyelids?
The way to prevent the crease on the eyelid is to not put concealer foundation on the eyelid and use a powder. Just use your face powder with a puff or a brush and get all the oil out of it. It really does work.
I think we need to pass the microphone onto that side of the room. Do you have it? Okay.
And can we apply creamy eyeshadows over the powder bases?
Yes, it depends on the formula. There's different creamy formulas, yes. Because we're not making the eyelid so matte. And I find that sometimes I have my makeup done by one of my artists or they're on set with me, when I'm not looking, they'll put one of those primers on. Eyeshadow gets stuck, like you can't move it. So I like the powder works much better. So I just lined her lips in actually the perfect color for her, which she should get this color. It's a Kevin O'Coin, it's called the Flesh Tone. I don't know why, because lips are not flesh, but it's really pretty.
It's deceptive.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to teach you how to find a lipstick that actually is your nude color. And it's different for everybody. So what I use up here is not going to be yours unless you have this color lip.
Basically, it has to do with your undertone of your own.
Of your own lips, yes. Lipstick has nothing to do with your skin color. I think that's one of those fallacies. Lipstick has everything to do with your lip color. So, what you do is you look for a color. Now, she's got two tones, which is so beautiful. So, I'm going to look for a color that is in between both. This is a little pinky, which is actually pretty, but it's not nude. So I'll have to put this together for a second and go a little bit deeper.
Hi, Bobbi. Hello. Yes. So, Malaika, you're a goddess.
Thank you.
A goddess, yes.
Yes. So, coming to the fact that you're doing a very natural sort of makeup look, that foundation doesn't look cakey and all that. But some of us have this extra pigmentation around our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we cover that up and yet not look like we
Right.
have
How do you look
the same
natural?
amount of cake going on?
If you have hyperpigmentation around your mouth, when you're doing your foundation, it's darker, right? So you want to maybe have two color foundations, or you can use your concealer very, very lightly to kind of create the first coat like this, and then use your foundation on the face, and that should work. Okay, so you lighten it a little. Okay, so this is her nude color lip, which now she has one color lip, but it's still beautiful. These are Pat McGrath. The pinky one was called Unfaithful, and this one is called Love-ish. Love-ish.
Thanks, Bobbi. I'm going to just request everyone who gets the microphone, if you can just stick to one question, that we can make sure that everybody gets a chance. Thank you. And on this side of the room, this lady's been waiting really patiently.
Hi, so first of all, it's great to see all four of you in person. And, okay, so her skin is looking gorgeous at the moment.
Fashion, right? But if you would see her in the pages of the magazine,
I always find that people, artists, sometimes don't know when to stop when they're putting
yes,
makeup on.
well, I'm just stopping.
I wasn't meaning you.
No, I am stopping. You know, Poppy handed me blush, and I just looked. I don't think she needs anymore. But also, over her lip. Oh. What was the question? Oh, I did it. Well, last time I did the powder, but this time it's on the eyes. Yeah, I did the powder last time. Yeah, that was with the lighter one. Definitely. So I love the way this looks. I'm going to take her eyeshadow off, and I'm going to do a little bit of my favorite brown smoky eye. And
by reading your makeup manual and your books, everything about eyes, so you are my guru. I would like to say thank you to you, because Prince and I, you know, whenever we look at all the makeup artists, they are just painting foundations and concealers and a lot of stuff, and somebody else entered and the other person is coming out. So, like you have done makeup on Malaika, she looks flawless, and you have just accentuated her features. So basically, the real meaning of makeup I learned from you, and I want to thank you. You are my guru.
oh, well, thank you.
And Malaika, big fan of yours. You're amazing. I've always followed you on Instagram doing Pilates. I just love that, and I'm a big fan of. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Well, I hope for all of you guys that you get to take some of my techniques I taught you and incorporate them into what you do, make it your style, and reinvent makeup in India. I mean, this is the first ever makeup show. There's going to be many makeup shows. Make sure you tell your friends, you tell your friends' friends, and I think hopefully it's going to be the start of, you know, a lot of new careers. Nice done. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully one day maybe someone here will start a school, maybe the Indian makeup show will start a school.
Ma'am, can I speak now?
Sure.
Hello, ma'am. So, ma'am, this is not a question. I just want to tell you something. 2 months back, I started doing my makeup course, and I started listening to your podcast with Guy Raz, and that was my inspiration. There were so many times I broke down, and I was like, I couldn't do it, I'm not good at it. But then I went back home, listened to your podcast, and around 2 months back only I told my sister, I wish someday I could meet Bobbi Brown. And today I'm here. And I really wanted to tell you this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What she's talking about is not my podcast that I talk to people, but it's one I was a guest on. It's a great podcast. It's called How I Built This.
Yeah.
So there's all different entrepreneurs, all different stories, and it's a 4-hour interview. You sit there. So if you want to know my story, it's in there.
Yes.
But thank you, and
Thank you so
I
much,
appreciate
ma'am.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Malaika, ma'am, you look lovely.
Thank you. I thank Bobbi, and I have to say the India Makeup Show for
Yes.
the first time. So, you know, hats off, and many, many more years of
Thank you,
all the very best. Come on, let's all get a
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, you're coming
Come
on
be my
stage.
team.
Oh, I see he's tucking his shirt in. No, I give these guys so much credit. We've been talking for a very long time about this day. So, all right. Is everybody here? Are all three of you guys? This is the first of many. Yay!